My name is Peter Bruninger from Aavik Showrooms, and we're here for a tour of Aavik and Ansuz. And here I am today with the team.
I'm Michael Burrison. I am primarily the designer of the Ansuz cable lines and the Aavik amplifiers. And this is my friend and business partner.
I'm Lars Christensen. I'm more or less in charge, making sure we stay on track with our products and taking care of sales and marketing.
Hello, I'm Fritz Dalmos. I'm sales manager of the two companies.
Good, let's go in and take a tour here in Denmark, and it's a beautiful day today. It's a great day to do some listening, and it's a great day to explore the factory. Can we do that now?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go, guys.
And here we have the production, where we have where the cables are produced. We have a joint facility here. Both the amplifiers from Aavik and the cables from Ansuz are produced here. And this is Henrik. And Henrik is doing most of the mounting on the new DTC cables, the DTC cables. And what you see on the board are the circuit boards that goes into the little discs that we have.
Understood. And what is the purpose of these board units?
The board units are active noise suppressants. What they do is that when you have noise on the mains, it comes in as a transient. And what this circuit does is that it samples the transient and develops a counter transient. So instead of trying to filter something away, we actively suppress it by doing a counter action.
I love it.
I think it's the only way to do it because the filters will always add inductance.
I was going to say they're going to be additive, and yeah.
Yeah, and if you add inductance to a power cord or a speaker wire or something that has to do with current flow through your system to your speakers, then when you add induction to that, and that's basically the only way, if you don't go active like we do, that's the only way of dealing with the noise is to have an LC type of filtering. And when you add L, you add inductance, you also add some kind of current limitation or transient current limitation to the system. And that is by all means the worst you can do to a system. And that's why most mains filters, they simply compress the dynamic range you can get through your system. It's sort of limited, and you get a flatter soundstage, you get a flatter presentation. What you want to do is you want to rid your system of inductive elements in order to have the music breathing.
That makes total sense to me. And here's where it's all done, right here. And we have the part here we're assembling here.
These are part of the sensing of the transients. When you have inductance made in a coil, what you see is that when you put a transient through that, you will get a voltage difference. And that voltage difference is actually how we sample the noise. This shelf here contains some of the raw materials that we use inside the cables. What we see here is actually a conductor that consists of 3 conductors, a center, a shield, and then a wound shield around it. We do the windings ourselves. I actually put my dad back to work. He's out of retirement and now doing cables. We have a machine there to do the winding. And what we do is that we make winding going in 2 directions. And the reason we do that, instead of having a coil going down the cable, by having a coil going in 2 directions, we minimize the possible inductance of these cables, of these windings. And again, everything we do in Ansuz has to do with inductance. The lower inductance we can do in all our power products, the power cords and the speaker wires, the better performance we get, or at least that's what we have seen. So we take the raw cables here, have them wound, and then we configure them to the finished cables, and we do that inside the other room.
Let's go take a look. Here we go. Okay, and what do we have here?
Here we see the assembly of some of the different parts of the cables. What we see is that we use soldering and crimping in order to make a joint of the different parts of the wires that are mechanically very stable and electrically very, very good. These are the 3 components that goes into making a mains cable. So you have here the phase, the neutral and the ground, and after assembly in these different parts, they are twisted into the wire that are then put into the socks that we see here. This is the finished DTC cable, and the PC boards we saw at Henrik's place is inside these boxes. We have 2 of them here, and the noise suppressant element is tremendous. It really scales up the performance of the music.
Well, I have a full loom of DTC in my system. It's the quietest my system has ever sounded, and it's the most dimensional sound I've ever received in my system.
I think it's
it's awesome.
A lot of people think cables as the last bit. First we get a good amp, then we get a good speaker, but it doesn't make sense to build a system like that. Actually, you need to build the system from the foundation up. So no system can perform better than how the foundation is created, and that's electrical foundation, that's the grounding, and that's also how mechanically the system is set up.
Well, I do know this. I have spoken with several of your dealers, and one of your dealers told me that he received 8 pairs of DTC. He said he was wondering how his clients would like it. Every pair he sent out for loan or demonstration, they did not come back. A check or order came back. So
Exactly.
that's really the answer. That they do make that huge difference in your system, and so viewers, you do want to check these out.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Michael. Let's move on to the amplifiers.